Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Hey cuz, how are you? How's everybody? Tally, what's up? Alright guys, you know Joe, if you can start tapping and sharing, that would be great. Right now it's almost 8. I don't have to wake up until 7 tomorrow. So, I don't know, as long as I'm in bed by midnight or so, I'm good. So, I have a handful of hours to work with as long as we get people, of course. But, we are looking for opposition, though, okay? So anybody that disagrees with the background, come on up. And yes, I know I need to make a new background soon. I get it. I will. And make sure you guys sub to me on the tube, okay? It's Dougielifts, Dougielifts. If you have a second device, it'd be great if you can just tune in and watch me on that second device and like the live and comment all that fun stuff, okay? Jaw, what's up? How are ya? Hello.
What's poppin', my dude?
How you doing? What's going on?
I saw your prompt and I respectfully disagree.
All right. What part do you disagree with?
Like, I don't hate any LGBTQIA plus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate women. I don't hate children. Sometimes I hate immigrants because they might do some bad stuff.
Anybody
I definitely don't.
Well, anybody can do bad stuff, right?
Yeah, but they like disproportionately do bad stuff.
What do you mean by that?
Like they come in, they bring drugs, they shoot up things.
Well, no, disproportionately that's actually not true. Actually, disproportionately they commit less crime than U.S.-born citizens.
What's the statistic, man?
Yeah, I can show you the data on that. So there's a couple studies when I came out of the Cato Institute, which is actually a right-leaning institute, that showed that undocumented immigrants commit less crime than U.S.-born citizens do. I can show you that. If you give me a minute here.
Well, I mean, the percentage of immigrants, like in terms of population, is
No. We're talking about per capita percentage.
Oh,
so
per capita,
okay. Yeah. So, but why would you hate them though? I mean, like you can apply that to anybody because anybody can commit crimes. Anybody can unalive people, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hate all people that do bad things.
What would you constitute it? What would you constitute as a bad thing?
Like things that go against scripture, things that go against the Bible,
like cheating, like cheating on your spouse and raping people, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so like Donald Trump cheating on his first wife with the second wife with his third wife.
The thing is, politicians get a pass because all politicians, all politicians are bad, man. You can't. You're telling me to filter out.
So hold on.
You
hate everybody that goes against the scripture, but then the person who should be held to the highest standard ever gets a pass.
No,
you see how ridiculous you sound?
No, what I'm saying is we have an illusion of choice here.
Well, no, you could have chose someone that didn't cheat on their spouse, that didn't grape another woman, but you chose to vote for the one that did do those things.
No, to be honest with you,
everything you're saying is bullshit.
If there was a better candidate than Kamala, no, Kamala was a worse candidate than
Did she
Trump.
cheat on her spouse multiple times? Did she grape another human being? Which, as you said, goes against the scripture. Did she do those things?
Well, I think her husband's...
the answer's no. The answer's no, she didn't. So by your own words, you should have...
I mean, we don't know that, man. We don't know that.
But we know it with Trump. And you still chose to vote for him. But what I'm trying to say, everything you're saying is bullshit. Don't pretend that you like to live by the scripture. That's fucked up and bullshit. You know that's not true.
I mean, no, but in my life, I live by the scripture. I go to
But the
church.
guy who's supposed to preside over the U.S., who's supposed to be held to the highest standard ever, who should be who should not do any of those things, right?
Yeah, come
You
on.
voted for that one, but Harris didn't do those things.
Did you vote for Bill Clinton?
I was born in '92, buddy.
Okay, I mean, did your parents vote for Bill Clinton?
But I'm not my parents. But I'm also not making the argument. I'm not making the argument that that I like to live by the scripture because I'm not religious. That's not my argument. I can acknowledge Bill Clinton did very shitty things. I can acknowledge that.
If you don't live by the scripture, then you have no moral compass. You know,
you can say that. Well, but you also voted for a rapist, so I don't think you have a moral compass. And you voted for a guy that's covering up the biggest P3DO scandal in history. So I don't think you have a moral compass.
I mean, I don't think he's the only one covering it up. I mean, I don't think
he is. I don't think he's
like
at the top
sole,
of the food chain. It doesn't matter. He's at the top of the food chain. And he has the ability to not cover it up, and he is.
No, my point is, I don't think he is top of the food chain. That's my point. I think he is just like a figurehead. You know.
I feel like this is going to go in an anti-Semitic direction.
What? In what way?
In the way of anti-Semitism. That way.
Sonny, are you talking to Jews right now? Sonny, are you talking to Jews?
See, told you. I clocked you. You.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
So you have zero. You just have zero moral compass. I think you just need to admit that.
I do have moral compass.
If that's what you need to tell yourself to sleep comfortably at night, you are more than welcome to tell yourself that. But I think all 160 people in here see otherwise. Now, guys, we are going to get to a new cast at 10,000 likes.
Hey, chat.
Whatever Trump hit the request button.
Yeah, hey, sure, chat. Do you agree? Do you agree with me? Say yes. If you agree with me, no. If you agree with the host,
no. No. Hell no.
This is a tough crowd.
That's not looking good for you.
Crowd, man.
You probably shouldn't have asked them that question. Anyways,
I don't think anyone here is a Christian, to be honest.
I don't think you're a Christian.
I am. I told you I live by the scriptures.
But you don't.
But I told you that politicians they get a pass because they're all shit.
So if they're not all shit. Yes, there are some that do shitty things, and yes, that some politicians can do awful things, some can do good. They're just like any other human being, man. They can do good things, they can do bad things, or anything in between. I think what you're doing is you're trying to justify your vote for Trump, and I think you know deep down he is an awful person, and I think you're just trying to justify to make yourself feel better.
No. I'm trying to bring logic in this.
There's no logic to it.
There is logic. Like there is. When I go to work, my manager, he's a piece of you know what dung, right? He's on a power trip. Imagine all these top politicians, how much worse they must be. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, man?
I don't see what that has to do with anything, man. You chose to vote for Trump. You could have chose otherwise. But you chose to vote for the one that lives the opposite of the scripture.
To be honest, I think he's the American Messiah. He has done so much for this country. He has drained the swamp. He has built the wall.
Now you're just saying dumbass shit. Now you're just saying repeated talking points from Fox News and himself. Okay, so there's really nothing to work with if you're just going to repeat things because you have nothing else to say. Remember, guys, 10,000 likes. 10,000 likes. We're going to move to a new guest.
Steel production is up by like I think 50%.
Oh, thank God! I was just, I woke up today and thought, man, if only steel production was up, then everything would be good in my life. Thanks for telling me that. Now I know steel production's up, and I can sleep comfortably.
Steel production is directly proportional to the state of the economy.
That's all I've ever wanted in life. I don't care that all these marginalized groups are getting harmed. I don't care that he's acting like a dictator. As long as steel is up, that's all that matters.
How is he acting like a dictator, man? Can you explain that to me?
Do you know what a dictator is?
Yeah, it's a person in government that acts as the sole authority over everyone.
Yeah. So when he is ignoring the other branches, right, and when he is doing things solely despite what judicial orders are saying or what any other branch might be saying, what would you call that?
I mean, he's doing with it. He's doing everything within the. I
No,
mean,
no,
his
no.
constitutional rights.
He's actually violated numerous constitutional rights. The first,
Can you give me an example?
the fourth, the fifth. Yeah. So ICE, they're just going into people's homes without a warrant.
Yeah, but which constitutional laws that breaking?
Do you not know the Constitution?
I
Since
mean,
Caesar? Do you
I
not
know it.
know? Then say it.
Yeah, but I mean, don't they have what do you call it
Whatever
cause or whatever?
probable cause. No,
Probable cause.
they're
Yeah.
going in without probable cause. That's the problem. That's how they're going against the Constitution. They don't.
Wait,
And
but they know that
it
these
was
people are
but it was
they
even
know that
set
these people are here illegally though.
that has nothing to do with it. But you wouldn't know that unless A, they got in due process, and B, they had some sort of probable cause.
Yeah, but aren't they like tipped by like neighbors and stuff like
I
that?
don't care what sort of tip we're talking about. That's not a justification for breaking into people's house and violating the Constitution.
Wait, so you don't want the country to get cleaned up? Is
See,
that what
that's
you're
what
saying?
we call a straw man argument. You took my argument and then you made it something else to try to break it down. I didn't say that. I am saying that we shouldn't violate the Constitution. We cannot violate the Constitution while also making America safer, and while
Well,
also still deporting people. Like all of those could be
okay,
done at the same time. It's not either or.
so you believe in a method that could allow for mass deportation in a righteous way, in a good
Well,
way, in a constitutional way.
well, every other president was able to do it without violating the Constitution, without harming individuals. I don't know why Trump seems to not be able to do it.
I mean, I don't think their methods were that effective, man. I
But
mean, look at this.
they deported more people and they didn't violate the Constitution. So,
Yeah, but deporting more people doesn't mean you're getting rid of the right people, you know?
well, actually, under Obama, that was their heavy focus. They specifically went out of their way to deport the people who were the most dangerous criminals. That was the whole thing of what they did, man. And we also know, again, undocumented immigrants don't commit crime proportional to the percent of the population that they represent.
I'd have to look at the data, to
Yeah,
be honest.
I can show you that, man. I can show you that.
I'm a big numbers person, you know?
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I was a mathematician back in the day.
I don't know what that means. What do you mean you were a mathematician?
Like, I mean, I did like calculus. I did like geometrical proofs.
Well, that's weird. All right. Well, listen,
So
man. So this is from this one is from the Cato Institute, I believe.
FC. Okay.
So, anyways, you can see overall. Here, let me just pull up my screen so I can see it. This is overall offending rates by citizenship slash documentation status from 2012 to 2018. So it was looked over a 6-year span, and what they found was that undocumented immigrants, which is the bottom line, committed they had the least amount of arrest rates per 100,000 individuals, while U.S. born citizens were at the top. And if we scroll down, we see this. With violent crime offending rates, we see the same deal there. So with those two things, we
Yeah,
see
and
this to be true.
how many of the Americans are people of color committing the crimes?
Well, we did hit 10,000 likes. So that's a perfect time to get you out of here. What an important question, guys. What a very important question. You just had to know the color of them, right? Because that's incredibly important, apparently. But guys, MAGA's not hateful. They're not hateful.
The guy said he did geometric proofs. Does that make him like a middle school math teacher?
I don't know, man. Are you opposition though? Are you looking to debate or what?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. How old are you?
19.
Cool. All right. And guys, if you can keep tapping and sharing. Make sure you guys all send in your heart me. And my pay links are in the bio if you guys want to show support. I do have the gift goal at the bottom of the screen as well if you guys can help out with that. All right, man. So what do you got? What do you disagree with?
Yeah, I disagree with a lot of the sentiment on the left about regarding immigration and customs enforcement.
Sure.
So
Yeah, yeah,
I know
yeah.
that's like probably the hottest point of contention now, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can get that. Hey guys, I'm actually going to change the gift goal to the chili thing. That way, it's a little bit easier to hit. So I'm going to go and make it the chili goal. Yeah. So what is it you disagree with specifically?
So I disagree with a lot of the sentiment of extremists on the left, which is like abolish ICE. I think
Mhm.
also the proposed reforms of ICE are not logical to make. I think as well, furthermore, that the points that people bring up against ICE and their
Okay.
inhumane practices, in my opinion, don't really stand up with
Okay.
other data that we have
Okay.
across the country.
So
So I think it just strikes me as cherry picking.
what would be an example?
Like for example, let's go to Renee Nicole Good. You
Sure.
can
Yeah.
say
What
that,
about her?
right?
You can say her name.
All right. So when I saw that video, um, I thought that it was justified. Like I came to that conclusion, or multiple videos. I know a lot of people didn't think it was justified,
Hmm.
but people were spreading misinformation about the guy who took her out. His name was Jonathan Ross. So a lot of people believed that he was this idea that ICE officers are untrained. The guy had 20 years experience, including
Well,
stints in
that's
Iraq
okay.
and Afghanistan.
But that doesn't train you for
So
what the situation that he was in. Whether he was in the military or not. We're talking about training as far as what they're supposed to be doing. They do get very small amount of training relative to say police officers, right? So like they do get about 6 or 7 weeks in relation to like 6 months worth for police officers. That's all that's being said, right? Um, but what is it that you feel she did wrong that justified her being unalived?
so I think that for one, there was an intent because she put herself a lot in that situation. She followed this idea that like ICE ambushed a woman, as President Vice President JD Vance pointed out, like that she was like out for a drive in Minnesota is absurd because
Well,
she
but I
was
think all of
part
that's
of.
relevant. All of that's irrelevant. I think whether she was behind them for 5 years following them, or she just pulled out of the driveway, I think
Well,
that's irrelevant.
it's it ignores the context of a situation though, and
Well,
I
no,
think to
I think
best
that
grasp
context
the
is irrelevant.
situation.
I think that doesn't matter at all in relation to her being unalived.
We have to talk about the entire situation, though, and I
But I
think to
think we have to
best
talk about
understand the
right. But we
situation.
have to talk about the situation in which it happened, right? Whether she was following him or not. First of all, there's no evidence of
But
that. But
also leading up to it.
guys, I can't
It's a
help it that you
full.
can't hear me. I'm sorry, guys. I can't help it.
I can hear you. Just I think
Okay, guys, is she the only one that can barely hear me? This is as loud as I can talk. So I don't know, guys. I have to get a microphone, so I don't know. Okay, all right, whatever. Go
so.
ahead, man. Go ahead.
Look, I think the best way to view a picture is to see the entirety of it, and for that we need to construct a most thorough view of what happened. And to do that, we have to, look back and see the context. So yeah, I mean, the police, like any police investigation across the world, follows that kind of guideline. They don't just look at the crime; they look at the context of the crime. Why should we do anything different?
But again, it's still irrelevant. That none of that justifies her being unalived.
But again, we have to understand
You
it.
can mention it all you want if you want to. It still doesn't justify her unaliving.
All right.
If you can tell me a thing that she did that justifies her being unalived, we can talk about that. Whatever
Okay.
she did
Yeah.
beforehand
Sure.
is yeah. So yeah, get to that part.
I think ignoring the context is at best lazy, but yeah, sure, whatever.
Not ignoring it.
So,
Not ignoring it. It's just irrelevant.
well, yeah, I mean, it is ignoring it. I think it's very relevant, but if you
Well,
don't
of
want to talk
course
about
you're.
it, that's
Well, of
fine.
course you're trying to justify an innocent lady being unalived. Of course you're trying to
That's
justify it.
from
Yeah.
your perspective. From my perspective, she put herself in that situation. I think the second, like,
okay. The
I think
majority of
Alex
America
Preddy,
disagrees with you. The majority of America does disagree with you.
6 out of 10 Americans believe that, according to CNN and ABC. So I'd say that's pretty reliable. It's 6 out of 10 Americans disagree with me.
Okay.
4
Well,
out
anyways,
of 10.
give me the evidence that it was justified that
But
she
the
was
six
unalive.
out of 10, the 6 out of 10 came after Alex Preddy.
Okay. What was the justification for her being unalive?
Okay. So, one, she backed. So I'm sure everyone saw the video. She backed into a corner. She couldn't move. I don't know why, but her wife was outside of the car, so I'm pretty sure she exited the car. So approximately 4 ICE agents approached her vehicle. Jonathan Ross, the guy who shot her, circled around to the front of the car. So,
which he shouldn't have done, right? Which was really poor on his part to do that. Like, you were trained specifically not to do those things.
In what handbook?
Yeah, you were. Are you telling me it's okay for him to get in front of the car? Every police officer knows that that is something that you shouldn't be doing. That you shouldn't get in front of a car that in which somebody is about to be moving or potentially moving or anything like that. So,
in what handbook? Do you have law enforcement experience?
I don't have to have law enforcement experience to say that. Everybody knows that. Everybody that has ever talked with law enforcement, anybody that's familiar with anything law enforcement knows that. I haven't spoke with a single MAGA supporter that said otherwise.
That's fine. But could you provide me that? Like, you're saying, in this very official tone, that they're specifically instructed not to do that. Where?
Yeah, I can get to that, but go ahead. But that still doesn't justify it. So I can go ahead and pull it up, but that still doesn't justify it. Get me the part where it justified her being shot in the face. But can you give me the part that's justifying her being unalived?
We're getting to that, man.
So get to it.
Obviously, we're going to get to that. You made the claim. I have to ask you to back that claim up. We're not. It's not just going to be like a claim out where we just say outrageous things. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable.
Okay. So, anyways, what is the justification?
Wait, you're not going to provide the evidence?
Yeah, I can go ahead and pull it up, but even if you see that, you're not going to change your stance. That doesn't matter.
No, I mean, I really could.
I could pull it. I could pull it up. You're not going to change your stance. I can show you it right now.
I'm not look, I'm not the MAGA bootlickers on this app. Okay, I can change. Don't worry. In the same way, I hope you can.
ICE policy aligning with standard law enforcement prohibits agents from standing in front of or directly behind a vehicle to avoid placing themselves in danger or creating a scenario requiring deadly force. Agents are instructed to move out of vehicle's path rather than using force, and pew-pewing at moving vehicles generally prohibited unless it in immediate danger.
Did Jonathan Ross violate code when he
that's why I told you it wasn't worth showing it to you, because it wasn't going to change your stance.
I haven't said anything about my stance yet.
Right. So can you just so give me just the piece of evidence that justifies her being unalived.
I think this conversation that we're having right now is getting to that, so it's not going to be like one sentence and that's it. Okay.
What's the one?
Okay, so the DOJ, the officer created Jeopardy, and that's Kristi Noem's DOJ. So I'd say it's fair to say that you're right, that he did put himself in an improper stance prior to her accelerating. So I'll grant that. Specifically, DOJ Justice Manual Title 1 through 16.20 prohibits. Yes, okay. So you're right. He shouldn't have put himself in that. He shouldn't have put himself in front of the vehicle. So you're right in the sense that that's a poor position for him to take. So one guy walks up to the goods window, and I'd say there's about all 4 of them are probably yelling commands at her. Right. So one guy reaches into her window because for whatever reason it's lowered, and he reaches in to attempt and stop the car.
Right, which he had no authority to do.
Is it reasonable to say that even if people are shouting commands at you in conflicting order. Some people are saying that they were saying to leave. I couldn't hear from the video. But is it reasonable to say that if someone reached into your car and attempted to turn it off, even when there's commands being yelled at you from multiple different positions, you would move your hands back, allow them to turn off your car, and allow them to
unless you want to comply with every order that's said to you without question. But they, number one, didn't have a justification to do that. They don't have authority to do that. And two, even if they did, that still doesn't justify her being unalived. Sure, in hindsight, hold on. In hindsight, if she can go back in time, would she have, of course, done something different? Well, no fucking shit, but that still doesn't justify her being unalived. We're not talking about what she could have done to preserve her life. We're talking about whether it was justified that he unalived her.
I conceded that Ross put himself in a poor position. Can you concede that Good put herself in a poor position as well?
Well, again, if she can go back in time, I would imagine she would do something different so she can be alive. But that doesn't justify her being unalive. Now, I'm asking you to give me that justification.
Okay, so so first she ignored the most logical solution, obviously, which was to allow the agent to turn off her vehicle. She didn't even have to turn off her vehicle.
But the punishment for that isn't unaliving. Thanks, guys, for helping me.
That's not the point. Right. Then she accelerated into a federal agent, putting him in harm's way.
Right, but that's still not justification for him to unalive her. Even though we saw her turn the wheel in the completely opposite direction, which we saw from his point of view per his phone, right? Even if that wasn't the case, that's still not justification for him unaliving her, because it is by DHS policy standards for them to be able to move out of the way of a vehicle. If you can get out of the way of a vehicle, then you should be able to do so, which we saw him do. And I can show you that as well. That isn't a deadly use of force. That itself.
Okay, so DOJ, you would say that DOJ policy prohibits the discharge of a weapon on a moving vehicle? Assuming, of course, that it's not imminent death.
Yeah, I can show you the specific policy about that. Yeah. But yeah, essentially what it says is that, like, if you have the ability to get out of the way, you must do so, and you cannot unalive somebody if they're, say, using a vehicle, right? Like that's
true. That's Justice Manual Title 1 to 16.
Right.
Right. So it does say that, but a car's direction can change on a dime. So he was on,
but he
was on the edge of the. He was on the edge of the when he shot her. He was on the edge of the bumper, so around, not quite off it. He was off it on the third shot.
So no, the first one, he wasn't in front of the vehicle. He was still on the side of the vehicle.
He was on. So
right.
If you saw,
so he was already,
especially from the Wall Street Journal.
So he wasn't in.
If you look at the Wall Street, if you look at the angle of the Wall Street Journal, and in the video they took, he was not on like the corner of the bumper. He was in the car's way as it was like gesturing vaguely that it was kind of turning away from him, but it was still going straight. It wasn't making like a complete overturn. So again, going back to what I was saying, a vehicle's direction can change on a dime, right? Okay. So
right.
If she had moved slightly left, because he shot her. If she had moved slightly left, then she easily could have leveled him to the center of her bumper.
But that's still not a justification. That's not a justification. You can say that about anything. That's not a justification for him unaliving her. You can say that at a traffic stop.
You can say
that at a traffic stop, that somebody can turn the vehicle into an officer, but they didn't, and they don't. Right? What you're saying is still not justification.
Probably that she was at a traffic stop. The person is not accelerating into you. She was not stationary. He was already on the side.
He was already on the side of the vehicle.
On the third shot, he was not on the first.
No, the first shot he was. He
Did
was
you
100% on
did
the
you
side of the
watch the
vehicle,
Wall
and
Street
that's still not a justification. Everything you're giving is still not a justification for her
at the
being unalive.
release of the first at the release of the first shot? He was on the edge of the bumper. On the second and the third, I agree, he was on the edge. But by then, you're instructed
It's
to mag him.
not a justification still.
Explain to me.
The fact that you're justifying this is wild, and this is why I do think you're a MAGA bootlegger. I think you can't criticize ICE, because if you criticize ICE, you're going to be criticizing Trump, and you're not allowed to do that in the MAGA community. You're
I
not
just
allowed to criticize
criticized
Trump.
ICE on two separate occasions, and you
You're
ignored it
criticizing a small
completely to
detail
go
while
into your
overall
boot.
you're criticizing a small detail while still overall justifying what they did and ultimately what
Yeah,
Trump is
you
doing.
guys don't like small detail. You completely ignored
The detail's irrelevant.
You completely ignored context because
The context doesn't matter.
I know. That's
Again,
like your number one
she
word,
could have been
irrelevant.
stalking. She could have been stalking that officer her entire, or he's not an officer. She could have been stalking the agent her entire life. Still doesn't justify it.
An ignoring of context and ignoring of intent.
So why are you not responding to what I just said? She could have been stalking him her entire life. It's still irrelevant. Respond to that.
It provides intent. It proves an intent. It proves that she was there.
What was her intent? Nope. Give me her intent that she was trying to unalive him. That is what you need.
She had the motive.
What's the motive to unalive them that she said specifically?
The intent is okay. So the intent is the acceleration. The motive,
the acceleration wasn't into him, but the acceleration was in the opposite way. If she wanted to go into him, why would she have turned her wheel in the opposite direction of him? If she truly wanted to go into him, why wouldn't she just hold on? If her intent, Max, was to go straight into him and run him over, why did she turn her wheel in completely the opposite direction of him?
Why would she? Okay, that's fair. That's a fair question to ask. I'd say we've been having this conversation about 20 minutes. He had all of maybe 2 seconds. He doesn't think of this stuff. When you're in law enforcement, when you're in the military,
I'm asking you.
I'm asking you. So when somebody,
but you're saying her intent was to unalive him. Max, answer the question. If her intent was to unalive him and run him over, why did she turn her wheel in the opposite direction? Why didn't she just keep it straight at him?
Why didn't she stay stationary?
That's not answering my question. If her intent was to unalive him by running him over, why did she turn her wheel in the opposite direction?
You can say that the intent was to accelerate. If she turned her wheel in the opposite direction, we really don't know what direction
that's what you
she
do. Hold on.
go.
That's what you do when you drive. You accelerate. Like, no duh. That's driving. You accelerate.
So why would you drive towards a federal officer? Sure,
she didn't. But again, if she would have, she wouldn't have turned her vehicle in the opposite direction. That's the point you're not responding to.
Then how did she hit him?
If she wanted to run him over, why didn't she just turn her wheel towards him instead of away from him? As much as she possibly could, right? There's only so much you can turn a steering wheel, right? Why did she turn it as much as you physically could, completely away from him?
Was I muted? Oh, no. Okay. Sure. So,
and guys, we'll get to a new guest at 35K, guys. 35K, we'll get to a new guest. We're looking for opposition.
Good.
I just want you to answer that direct question. I mean, we saw her turn her wheel in the opposite direction, right? Everybody saw that.
Her vehicle out of the direction. I think that was after she'd been shot. Out of the or first shot anyway. She got shot in the head first, and that might have caused a jerk in motion. But let's see. Out of the direction of Jonathan Ross prior to being shot.
No, her turning her vehicle her wheel was before she got PPU'd.
So she turned right.
Right, and he was on the left.
Directing the vehicle away from Ross.
Right. So again, if she wanted to run him over, she wouldn't have done that.
He's on the bumper. So even if she had gone, you know what? I'll concede that. If she had gone right, he still could have been thrown off the corner of the bumper.
Listen, I can acknowledge that possibly he could have been tapped. I won't even quite deny that. It's a possibility. It was a very small gap, if anything, right? Maybe he was tapped, maybe he wasn't, but her intent wasn't to do so, right? And that's what it comes down to. What was her intent? and we clearly see her intent wasn't to go into him. And him being tapped at best, he walked away fine, not a limp, not nothing, right? Him being tapped at best is not justification for him pew-pewing her and then doing it multiple times from the side. Clearly, his intent was to unalive her, despite her already being past him.
You're instructed to mag dump when you're. So I know a guy who works in the FBI, and he said it's in every law enforcement handbook. If you choose to open fire, you mag dump.
Okay, but we're talking about the intent to do so, why he did that to begin with, right?
Well, you were talking about the other two shots, so I think it was important to clarify that.
Okay. Well, still though, if her intent wasn't to unalive him, then why did he unalive her?
Well, he unalived her obviously because he was in a position of danger or a perceived danger, which is perfectly justified in a criminal in a police handbook.
That's not justification to unalive someone, because it's not whether he felt he was in danger; it's whether the situation itself warranted such danger, right? Because anybody can say that they're in danger and unalive someone. Any officer can say, "Hey, I felt I was in danger. That's why I unalived this person." Right? So that's very subjective. We have to go off of more objective things rather than one's sense of feeling.
That's true. So is it fair to say that when she was shot, do you think her foot loosened on the gas pedal?
I mean, she was already going past him at that point. I don't see how that matters.
Well, just answer the question. Do you think her foot loosened on the gas pedal when she was shot first? Like when the bullet first made contact?
I don't know. I mean, you saw the car speed up well after she was unalive, so I didn't seem so. But I don't see how that matters, though. Like, again, at the
when
end
you're
of the day,
shot, especially in the area that she was shot, you have like a jerk, like a death jerk kind of.
But we're talking about the moment prior to that, man, and that's the part that you seem to not want to acknowledge for whatever reason. If she turned her vehicle or her wheel away from him, completely opposite direction, then it was very obvious that she wasn't trying to unalive him. Therefore, his actions was unjustified. Like, that's what it comes down to. You can say the previous context matters.
You're right.
Whatever,
no, it is.
Right? And
it's tough because if she had continued, she could, like, we will never know because she did get shot. But if she had continued in a specific direction, and obviously she couldn't change directions prior or after being shot, but prior to being shot, she could have changed directions. There was a reasonable possibility she moves maybe a little left, maybe a little right. When she still has control.
But that doesn't matter. We're talking about the moment. We're talking about the moment leading up to and to her being pew-pewed the first time, right? That's all that matters.
Not leading up to. You didn't want context.
That's the part leading right up to it.
Don't say you're leading up.
Yes, the immediate part leading up to it. Yes. Again, whether she was stalking him her entire life or not doesn't matter.
True. So in that moment, if she hadn't been shot, she could have easily turned to the left.
But that doesn't matter.
Her movements are unpredictable.
But that doesn't matter.
She's clearly not in a. She's not in a rational state of mind.
That doesn't matter.
Wait. Hold on.
Hey, bitch.
Fair to say.
Hold on. There was a slight, dare I say, precedence of tone that was set immediately when he came around her car and she said, "I'm not mad. It's fine, dude. I'm not mad."
Are we talking about context here or not? Do you want context?
I'm just here to shoot the shit. Yes, I'm talking about context. His first interaction with her when he approached her car. Now, I don't know if you know where he came from. He got out of a car that had already passed her. He did not get out of the second car. He came from the car that already passed her. She was waving cars. Like, go, how you wave cars to go by?
Yeah, the three agents that approached her car. Yeah, they came from a different car.
Let me finish. He came from a car that had already passed. They stopped, right? but it wasn't the car that stopped and the agent that got out and went and told her to get out of the car. He was walking back. He came back. He positioned himself in front of her car, by the way, but he walked around her car. And upon because her window was down, she said she signaled to him like, "I'm not mad. It's fine, dude." Right then and there, setting a tone, whether she's lying or not, is one where he could say, okay, however, you're in the street and we're trying to get by. That right there is what a truly seasoned agent would have done. Instead, he was filming. That's why he was walking around her car. He was busy filming the situation rather than engaging. Rather than engaging to de-escalate. My father is a retired federal LEO, a seasoned, and you mentioned that when you came up here, he's got 2 decades of training?
2 decades, right? Including Iraq, yeah. Gun runner in Iraq.
I don't care about that part. I'm talking about his job. I'm not talking about his military career. But he knows the very first thing you do is de-escalate the situation. First, actually make sure everybody's okay, de-escalate the situation. She signaled to him immediately that she was not angered, she was not agitated, and he could have met her with that and said, I get it. However, we need to all pass here. So could you just pull your car back in reverse or whatever? No, he was busy filming the situation.
Guys, remember at 35K, 35K, we're going to get 2 new guests, guys. Sorry.
And you can see, when his attitude, his demeanor escalates is when her wife says, go have some lunch, something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing, because that's when you see him take.
When his wife was taunting him, yeah.
Sorry, I got a call. Sorry, I got a call. And what you can see just after his wife or her wife says, just go to lunch or something like that, he's right-handed and he takes his phone and switches it over to free his hand, and that's when he.
You keep cutting out.
Sorry, that I keep getting this weird call. That's when he goes to unholster his gun, to at least unsnap it, right? And he is to left shoulder to her front tire. But it's policy. It's in their procedure book. You are not to stand in front of cars. You're not to stand in the back of cars either. He fucked up.
I conceded that. I conceded in the.
But then what's the justification again for her being unalived? If you've already acknowledged that, and you've already acknowledged that she turned her wheel specifically away from him, and if she was trying to unalive him, she wouldn't have done that. Where's the justification? I'm failing to see the justification from your end.
For me, for what I was saying, the justification would be that he doesn't know if she can change her direction, and she can very quickly.
That's not justification to unaliving someone.
Sure, it is. If you have a reasonable assumption to believe that she could kill you, especially with what she's done so far.
Here we go. No. Wait, Max. Here's the thing, Max. If that is so true, if it was so true that it's like, oh shit, anything can happen here. You watch too much TV, my guy. Why didn't the other officer that was standing there, who got the fuck out of the way because he has a brain, obviously, why didn't he shoot her?
What a terrible angle to shoot from. Have you ever shot a weapon?
Yeah, my first gun I had, I was 12.
So then you should, of all people, know that that's a horrible angle to shoot at.
Max, you play Max, shut up. You play way too much COD. You watch too much fucking TV. You are absolutely not thinking rationally about this.
Of course I am. What a terrible shot that would be. First you would have to...
Max, this is not Call of Duty. She's dead.
Yep, I know she is.
His negligence, she's Dead.
Wait, Paige, can I respond to what you were saying, please?
But hold
So
on.
you said that why didn't he take a shot? So for one, she's driving away from him.
It was a rhetorical
So by the time,
thing. It was
why is it
rhetorical.
rhetorical?
What
It
you're
was
saying is
rhetorical.
what you're saying
Wait,
isn't
If
a
hold
it
on,
was
hold on.
said to, my
Wait,
thing
please,
was,
please.
shut up.
no,
No,
no, no,
shut
no,
the
no.
fuck
What you're
up,
saying isn't a
Max.
justification, man. Like I don't know why we have to keep going through this. So let's just read the use of deadly force from the
Can I
DOJ.
respond to her points?
No,
Who am I responding to here?
this is what it comes down to, man. Because like you're saying that she could have turned her vehicle, but that doesn't matter. So here's the use of deadly force. So
Who am
number
I
one,
talking to?
me. Deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of fleeing suspect. Great, you see that, right? Okay, so there's that. We're going to move
Wait,
forward. There's
yeah,
more to it.
sure.
There's more to it than that. Let me try to move it so you can see a bit more. Okay, so number two, firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at moving vehicle unless a person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle, or the vehicle is operated in a manner that threatens to cause unaliving or serious physical injury to the officer or others, and no other objectively reasonable means of defense appears to exist, which includes moving out of the path of the vehicle, which he did. So therefore, it wasn't justified.
So did Paige give a TED talk or a debate or what?
Can
'Cause
you
I'm not allowed
respond?
to respond to her.
Can you respond to what I just said though? Because this is what it comes down to. And what
Can
she
I
said
respond
is
to
what
you?
she said is wrapped up in this. Though
Can I respond to what she said?
I want you to
And then
respond.
can I respond to what you said?
No, respond to the host.
No.
I'm not
Yeah,
the
I
host.
assume not.
Wait, Max. I'm not the host. Respond to the host. You have responsibility to him first.
Just respond.
Okay, sure.
To
I'll
what
respond
I said.
to him.
Respond to that.
Okay.
Tell me how it's still justified.
Again, for the 1,000th time, she can change on a movement of the dime. She can easily have moved.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What I read says that doesn't matter, right? If he had the ability to get out of the way, which we already saw him do, that's it. End of story.
So
end of story.
He didn't have an ability. He didn't have an ability to move out of the way. What do you mean?
If he didn't have the ability to move out of the way, then he would have been ran over.
Which he basically was, but yeah, sure.
So he was ran over, yet he walked back to his he walked back to his vehicle.
Bro, it was going good until fucking Paige joined. It
was going good until you had.
I lost my train of thought because Paige gave a speech. I
think you not only lost your train of thought. I think you lost the debate because there's nothing you can say to respond to this. You can say she could have turned her vehicle, but she didn't
anymore.
You can say that.
It was a good debate you and we were having. Paige, I think the TED Talk from Paige really fucked it up. That was the problem.
If that's whatever you need to tell yourself, sure, but.
I'm gonna follow you because I'll get back to you. If I can come back, can you assure me that Paige won't join next time?
I cannot assure you that, no.
Can I at least respond to Paige's nonsense before I go?
You have until 35 days to be here. So
okay, sure. Okay, let me respond to Paige. So Paige Paige said that she'd drawn a firearm. First time she'd drawn a firearm was at 12 years old. And then she says, or before she said that, that the shot, why didn't the other guy shoot? And also said that.
No, it's not what I said. It was a hypothetical.
What did you say?
So first off,
Please shift your point.
Stop interrupting. What I said is, if she was such a threat, the other officer would have positioned himself, and he would have also taken a shot. See, here's the thing: you fucking play Call of Duty. I grew up in a house with a federal LEO.
Oh my God! You grew up in a house with a law enforcement parent? Are you what?
Yes, and you play fucking video games, dummy.
With the millions of active law enforcement
guys, we're looking for opposition. If you voted for Trump, hit the request button, please.
Yes, Max. I know, Max.
Oh my God!
Calm down. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I do listen. I grew up around that. I grew up around guns. And I understand how to de-escalate situations. You don't. You know how to overreact and act like fucking Rambo. You are
you a
Kyle.
mom?
You are Kyle Shittenhouse 2.0.
Fuck Kyle Rittenhouse. And wait, are you law enforcement? How do you know how to de-escalate a situation if you've never been in law enforcement and all that you have
Because
is
I've
what
had
you
to
grew up around guns?
I've had to de-escalate situations that involved pew-pews.
And I
I've
haven't.
had to
You're
do
assuming
that
that I haven't.
myself.
That's great, Paige.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I've had a gun pointed at me as well.
Cool.
So what?
Big fucking deal, Max. But I guarantee you looked at it as an opportunity to be Rambo rather than to be actually using your brain. That
Right.
that agent did not use his brain.
With a gun pointed at me, I went Rambo, right? If that was true, I would
I'm
probably
sure
wouldn't have been here.
I'm sure your brain went that way. So fucking what, Max? The
What do you
way that
mean?
the way that you're approaching this
Paige, you're a clown
and
to me. I don't
having
know what to tell you.
I'm what?
You're a clown. I don't know what to tell you. Doug is much more honest than you, and Doug is not.
Max, get fucked, buddy.
You're a clown, bro.
Write it in your fucking diary and cry on your fucking little pillow, you immature brat. You have a
Sure.
problem with women. It's not really just a problem with me. You have a problem with women. It's very fucking obvious. Especially a woman who fucking dog walked you because
You're a clown, Paige.
you can't make fucking sense of
I have a
what
fear of clowns.
happened.
Hey, you just got kicked.
I actually do have a fear of clowns, Paige.
Yeah, you just got kicked though. Brandon, thank you so much for the 20 on the blue out with the V. W Brandon in the chat, everyone give him a W. Says F this child. I agree, Brandon. Thank you so much. We're gonna get to the new guest in a second, guys. I'm looking. Can you guys hear me? Some people said I'm low. I'm looking for. I have a.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I know, but people are saying I'm still low, and that's really bothering me. I'm trying to look for. I have like a mini microphone. Matt, Politics of Matt is actually sending me a like a big mic, but until then, I have a smaller one. I just moved though, and I don't remember where I put it, but whatever, it's okay. Let's get to the next guest, guys. We are looking for opposition. So
Can I just say one?
Yeah, go
Can
for
I
it.
just say one last thing?
Yeah.
Max, you disarming a Nerf gun when you were 7 years old from your brother isn't really like on the same level, my guy. Like,
Guest, are you opposition?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you?
58.
Oh, shit. All right. All right. So, what's on your mouth? What do you want to talk about, man?
Well, you were talking about Renee Good.
Yeah, we can talk about her.
You're talking about Renee Good. You want to stay on that subject?
Why not? Yeah, what's up? What do you want to say? Do you think it was justified?
So, no.
Okay. All right, then I don't.
It was unjustified.
Okay, then I don't think we have much to talk about in relation to her. So, what would you call it?
No, we do. We do.
Oh,
no, we do.
All right. So, what do we need to talk about?
You're calling it murder, right? You're calling it murder.
What would you call it?
Right?
Huh?
I would say at most involuntary manslaughter.
How was it involuntary? How was it involuntary?
Because the ICE agent had a legitimate fear for his life. He was struck by the vehicle.
That's not relevant, though, to whether something is involuntary. So, involuntary manslaughter is the unlawful, unintentional, right? We already know it was intentional, so there goes that. But unintentional unaliving of a person resulting from criminal negligence, recklessness, or during the commission of a low-level unlawful act.
Wait a minute. How do we know it was intentional?
Because he did it.
You can prove his intent.
Him pew-pewing her in the face and then multiple times thereon afterwards?
So you can prove her intent.
What was her intent?
I don't know what her intent was.
Okay, but then if you don't know her intent, then if you don't know her intent, then it was unjustified.
No, I don't know his intent either.
But we're talking about
Let me
her
ask you.
intent as to relevant. Wait, hold on, but we're talking about her intent as to whether this was justified or not. And you're saying that
Okay,
this
let
is
me.
involuntary manslaughter at worst.
Yes, let's go back. Let's go back a few years.
Jeez,
Ashley
why?
Babbitt,
Why?
was
Wait,
that justified?
why do we have to go back a few years? Without any other previous cases irrelevant to this, whether hers was
Is
justified or not doesn't matter about this case.
isn't isn't the law based on
And
previous occurrences? I mean, don't we look at the law to say, well, in this
We
circumstance, the law said this?
Well, no, because you're doing whataboutisms. If you're talking about
No, I'm
precedents
not
being
doing what
set,
about
if you're talking
it.
about a precedents
I'm
being set by like a
asking.
judge, that's a different story.
No. Okay, so let's talk about a judge. Did
Okay.
the ICE officer, his name was Jonathan
Good or not
Jonathan
good?
Ross, I believe.
Jonathan Ross, yeah, Jonathan Ross, yeah.
Yeah. Did he have the intent to go to that street with an intent? He knew her personally to murder her. Was that his intent?
That's not needed for what I'm saying.
No, it is needed to convict him of murder.
Right? There's different levels of it.
Right. That's
Right.
this
So
this is the
so
point.
I'm not saying it is a first degree necessarily, right? And I'm not, and also too, man, I am not a lawyer, right? But it wouldn't necessarily be first degree in this situation. It would probably be like more, it'd probably be more like second degree, yeah, something like that, third degree, possibly. It would probably be one of those, I'd imagine.
So we're kind of in agreement here
Yes, but
that
well, no,
it
that's
was
very
not
different. Hold on, second degree is very different than what was it that you said? Unintentional manslaughter, or what was it?
involuntary manslaughter.
Involuntary manslaughter. Yeah, second degree is very different than that.
Second degree is very different, but second degree also requires premeditation or a forethought,
Let's
right?
give so
Murder
examples of
murder
involuntary.
requires premeditation,
you thought about it.
No,
right?
no, 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 no.
Yes, it does.
So hold on.
Yes, it does.
Involuntary manslaughter. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. Examples of involuntary manslaughter would be texting and driving. If you're speeding or something like that, and you happen to unalive someone, accidentally discharging a firearm in an argument, which obviously that wasn't the case. Improperly prescribing medication, things like that, right? Secondary or second degree murder doesn't necessarily need to be premeditated.
Yes, it does. It requires no forethought. It requires the premeditation.
No, so
Second second
second
degree
degree
murder.
murder is often defined as an intentional unaliving that was not premeditated, or an unaliving caused by a dangerous contact or a depraved mind without regard for human life. For example, unaliving in the heat of passion, which this would be.
So
I'm just reading the definition. Second degree does not
I'm listening to
necessitate.
you.
I
I'm
know
listening
it
to
doesn't
you.
necessitate having a
Now
premeditation.
the definition of second degree that murder that I read, or schmurder, I'm sorry for the
You're good.
TikTok
It's
rules,
fine. You're good.
schmurder, still required a forethought that there was an intent to murder. Schmurder. I'm sorry. Again, I did it again.
No,
Um,
no, 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 no. It doesn't
but
need to. So there doesn't have to be a premeditation for it to happen, but it does need to be intentional, or at
so
the very
you
least, or at the
believe
very
that
least, or
he,
at the very least, or at the very least, are intending to cause harm. That at the very
so
least, not
you,
necessarily lie, but at least causing harm.
okay, so you believe that that ICE agent pulled up to the scene where Renee
That's.
Good was blocking the street
Mhm.
with the intent to shoot her.
It doesn't need to be at that moment. It needs to. All it has to be is at the moment, just right leading up to it, which it was. So like again, it doesn't need to be premeditated. He didn't have to go up to her vehicle with the intention of that happening. And I can't speak to his
No, he
intent as to
didn't have
whether.
to. He
Right.
didn't have to.
That
And I
doesn't.
mean,
Right. So second degree doesn't necessitate that.
so let me get this out of the way real quick. If I were the ICE agent, I would like to believe that I would not have used the force that he used in that situation.
Okay.
And so I think that the ICE agent is wrong. I think that he should, by all means, lose his job and should be facing some time in prison and a
Okay.
significant amount of probation. But to say that he murdered her in cold blood, I just can't agree with that.
But
I
I'm
don't agree
failing
with
to
that
understand of how you're viewing it as involuntary manslaughter.
because he was struck with the vehicle. Whether that was her intent to strike him or not, she did strike him with the vehicle.
Do we know that for sure?
No, we can't prove her intent
But
in
wait,
the
hold on.
same.
The reason I ask you that is because I haven't. I need to like catch up on some if anything has been written about it in the past week. But you're saying he hit. Sorry, she hit him with the car. Now you're saying we don't know for sure if indeed she did hit him. I'm confused.
I can't listen from the video footage that I have seen. It appears that she did strike him with the vehicle. I can't prove it in the
Well,
same manner that you can't prove that she didn't.
but we know that he did not follow protocol. Correct? Can we agree that he knows that he is not supposed to stand in front of her car? There was no reason for him to stand in front of the car. He could have taken 2 big boy steps back and stayed clear of her car. Did he do that?
No,
Or
he did not. But
or did he buck up? I'm from the South, so I'm gonna use a couple little Southern terms here. Or did you decide like I'm gonna be a good old boy. I'm gonna buck up and see. I'm gonna challenge her, play a little chicken here, and and he unalived her. He
so let
put
me ask
4
you.
bullets in her. 4. And then what I'd like to know, and little Maxie boy didn't seem to want to get, I couldn't get there to Max because Max is a teen man, right? He's a teenager. Maybe I can get there with you. So what did he say exactly after he shot her 4 times?
He said fucking bitch.
Hmm.
And I believe he shot her 3 times, but
I thought it
that's
was
not
3,
irrelevant.
but
That's kind of
actually the coroner
irrelevant.
report came out. It was 4 times. I thought it was 3 as well. Coroner report came out 4.
Well, doesn't the video show 3 shots fired?
I do want to say this, not that ChatGPT is the end all be all. I did ask ChatGPT if he was convicted of murder, what degree would it most likely be? And again, it's ChatGPT. We're not going off of this. I'm just saying what they're saying. You're saying most likely second degree or third degree, and at very best voluntarily manslaughter. But again, I'm not saying ChatGPT is the answer. I'm just saying that's what it says. But I just don't see how it would be involuntary manslaughter. I don't see how it would fall into that category.
Well, it could be voluntary manslaughter.
Why
Absolutely.
do you think he called her a fucking bitch after he put 4 bullets in her?
Because she hit him with her car.
What are you talking about? He didn't fall down. He didn't stumble back. In fact, he
Well,
was
so
leaning in. Hold
that's
on. Let me
the
finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. He didn't fall down, right? He was actually leaning, like his hips were out, but he was leaning in on his own. We have those images. When after you put 4 bullets in a woman's face and shoulder, and the first thing you gotta say is fucking bitch, and then you turn around and you saunter away, get in a car, and drive off, that just seems a little strange.
he didn't drive off. He remained at the scene.
No, he
From the
left.
reports that I've read,
He
no, he
left.
didn't.
He
No, he
left
He
left.
didn't.
He
the
left like
scene. He
No,
immediately.
he did
left.
not.
Like
He did not
immediately he
leave the
left.
scene.
Yeah, oh yes, he
He
did.
did
We saw him
not.
drive away.
No,
Oh, 100
no.
percent, dude. That's wild that you're saying this. And guys, I should be louder in a second. Hopefully. That's wild that you're saying that, man.
JP, do you know which car he was in?
All right, let's see if you guys can hear me here. Okay, input. All right, can you guys hear me now?
Ooh, well,
Is
hello.
louder? Is it a lot louder?
Yeah.
We're louder?
Yeah. Yeah.
We good, guys? All right, look at that. See?
Well, hello.
Ask and you guys shall receive. All right. Nice. So I can speak over guests now. That's all I wanted to do. I just want to be able to speak over guests. All right. Well, I guess the microphone on these are awful. I like to be able to hear through this, but it's nice that I can speak through this. All right. Anyways, guys, we are looking for opposition. Who do we have in the box? We don't have anyone. So if you do
JP,
disagree
where
with
you
what's
at?
being said, hit the request button. Yeah, I don't know where you're at, man. Hey, guys, we are almost halfway towards the little rose goal. If you guys want to help at that. Let me see Carl here. I might be opposition. Remember, guys, my pay links are in my bio. It's Dougie9192. If you want to show support, you can send something. I'll read your question or comment out loud to chat. While it's not needed, it does allow me to do these lives and all that, at least more consistently. Hey, Carl, how you doing? Carl, your opposition?
Yeah.
Okay. You can stay up here, JP. I just wanted to bring up another guest. All right, Carl, so what's your input? Oh, give me your age real quickly first.
I'm 24.
Okay. All right, so what's your input?
I think it's pretty obvious, like, all your points, MAGA hates, everything in the back. I mean,
Were you listening
alphabet community, you got that one,
well, hold on, Carl, one
maybe
second.
Maybe immigrants, but like,
Carl,
Democrats hate immigrants.
Carl, hold on. Carl!
Oh, are you crashing out? I thought you asked me a question.
Yeah, we're talking about.
Just started screaming like that. That's great.
Because we're talking about
something.
Well, yeah. Number one, you weren't listening to me. Number two, this is not what we're talking about. It was odd that you didn't hear.
You're not talking about your background.
We're talking about what the other guest is talking about. We're talking about Renee. We're talking about Renee Good and the Unaliving of Her by Jonathan Ross.
Oh, you didn't say that. So why would I know?
How? Because that's what we're talking about.
You asked me, what do I think? I haven't been watching you. I don't know who you are. Why would I assume what you're talking about?
I asked you, what is your position on the? Okay, great. So now that we have an understanding, that's what we're talking about.
Holy shit, that was so cringe.
I know. I understand it was cringe on your end. It was cringe that you kept talking, even though I said Carl.
You started screaming.
Right, because I said right. So you're doing it again. When I start talking,
are you okay?
Yeah. So actually, goodbye. Fuck off. All right, JP, you can go ahead.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm nothing like the last guest. All right. I don't want to be confrontational. I just want to get to the truth. And to me, that shooting, had it been me in that position, I would like to think I would not have. 80% of me thinks, yeah, I would not have taken the shots. I can't say for sure because I can't really put myself in those shoes. But the minute the second that her vehicle struck that officer, I'm not going to say he was justified. But he had a reasonable right to fear for his life at that moment. And is he going to be convicted? I think he will be convicted of a crime, but it's not going to be murder. And I think that it's dangerous to say that it's obviously murder when we haven't given him due process. And
I'm not saying we should. No.
We doesn't come down as murder.
We 100% should give him due process.
Hold on, buildings are going to burn.
But hold on, I'm not saying no. We obviously should give him due process. I would never suggest otherwise. And we're just having a conversation. I'm not making some sort of official position of authority saying this is exactly what it's going to be. We're just speculating here. We're just two random people talking, or three random people talking, right? But something being third degree or second degree, he can still be in fear of his life. you can be in fear of your life and still have it be one of those, right? So third degree covers an unaliving that results from inherently dangerous conduct without specific intent to unalive, and law enforcement prosecutors sometimes describe excessive use of force that goes beyond lawful self-defense in these terms. So it very well could be third degree, even if he did fear for his life.
Could be third degree.
I'm just saying, most likely it would be second or third. I don't think it would be first degree. I'm absolutely going to give you that. First degree would necessitate it being premeditated. I don't think that's the case. I think that would be a very hard argument to make that it was premeditated, like prior to like the incident. That'd be incredibly hard to prove. I think it's second or third.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate the
no way it would be first.
Not necessarily a concession, but an agreement that it's not first degree murder. But what I would like to ask you about Ashley Babbitt.
Okay.
Was that unjustified?
Well, she was given numerous times. She was given commands to stop going through, numerous times. Otherwise, I don't remember the specific quote of it though. Like I don't know whether he said he was going to unalive her or pew her, whether she was going to keep going or not. I would have to listen back to what his exact quotes were.
No, she could see that there was a pew involved. She was given multiple warnings, and she got what she deserved, in my very blunt opinion.
But so as I said, whether it was justified or not doesn't dictate whether this one is justified or not.
So Renee Good wasn't given multiple commands to stop and get out of the vehicle.
Those weren't a lawful command, though. Like they weren't under any authority to do that. Well, in the January 6th, there was
authority. If she's impeding the law that they're carrying out, which is the law of the land. I understand that most people on the left think that law is immoral, but it doesn't change the fact that it is the law. She was impeding that process. She was given a lawful command to exit the vehicle. She did not.
It wasn't a lawful command, though.
It was.
No, wait, no. They're ICE agents. They're not traffic cops. They're not police officers. She doesn't have to do shit for them.
Yes,
that's not. Does. No, she does not. They weren't. It was not. Hold on. Hold on. No, because this is wrong. We're not going to sit and have a 5-minute discussion when you've got this incorrect. They don't have jurisdiction. Not over her. She doesn't have to do shit for them. Not a damn thing.
Okay, is it my turn to speak?
Go ahead.
You're wrong. She does. They do have jurisdiction over her.
No, they don't. She's an American citizen.
Okay, well, hold on. Just to justify them having jurisdiction over her, cite that of where that would be.
As soon as she impedes on their investigation.
It wasn't an investigation. They were driving through the neighborhood. Christy Nome announced it. She said it herself. A reporter asked what they were doing, or were they on an investigation? And she said no, they had concluded an investigation.
She said
they were literally driving back. Yes, there was no
That's what Christy Nome
investigation.
That's what Christy Nome said, that they were done for the day.
Said it.
Did she block the road?
No.
Well, no, because we saw 11 vehicles go by prior to that incident happening. We did. I can show you the video. There was 11 vehicles that passed her vehicle prior to that incident, which means she wasn't blocking the vehicle.
Until she decided to block the road.
She was not blocking the road. Would you like to see the video where you can clearly see that there are cars passing her? If she was blocking the road, how come there were ICE agents in cars that already passed her, and she had not moved her car? It was that second one who said like, yeah, no, and they were going to be Johnny Badass, and he jumped out of the car and went over and tried to open her door.
So
But
why is she
we have
perpendicular in the
video
road?
of her sitting there for minutes and people are passing her. The car that stopped, by the way, she waved at them 4 times, waved them past, like, yeah, go ahead, go past. And by the way, that's her neighborhood. She was letting cars pass her. She was parallel parked.
Sideways in the road?
What?
Why was she sideways in the road?
She wasn't sideways in the road. She was parallel park. When you come out of a parallel park.
Not parallel park. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Can you describe it? Because I've watched this video 100 times if I've watched it once. Is it parallel parking on that street or not?
There is parallel parking. She is perpendicular. She is across the street.
But that doesn't matter, though. I don't see how this is relevant.
Do you have the video?
I can probably. I don't see how that's relevant, though. Like they as Paige said, as Chrissy Gnome said, they were done with their duties for the day. There was no active investigation going on. There was nothing that she was impeding upon, and they don't have jurisdiction over her in terms of like a traffic stop. There's no jurisdiction in which they would have to do that with her. So asking her to get out of her vehicle was an unlawful command. She didn't have to listen to that.
No, it was not. And this is the mistake.
But then you have to counter my point.
That ICE can't give a U.S. citizen a lawful command when they can.
But then you have to justify that. So then you have to prove that they were justified in asking her to get out of her vehicle, because the only time. But she wasn't repeating an investigation because they were already done for the day, as Chrissy Gnome said. So I don't understand how you can justify this. But even if she was, that's not their duty to tell her to get out of her vehicle. That would be a police officer's. Even if she was.
She's impeding the traffic.
But hold on. Yes, A, 11 vehicles went around her, so she wasn't. And B, that's still not their job. So you're wrong on 2 accounts.
So if a vehicle pulls across a center lane, perpendicular.
Right, right. Yes. So hold on. In your example, ICE or Border Patrol cannot pull that person over. Yeah.
What they could do, they could have called the police and had the police come in and tell her to move her car out of the way or whatever. You know it was a one-way street, correct? You know that she's primarily, for most of the time, she's sitting in a bike path. Her car's like pretty much sitting in a bike path, right? She was parked perpendicular. Right? She was pulling out of that spot that she had been in. But they are not traffic cops. Now, had they called the police, then yes, she would have had to move her car. The police would have shown up and they would have had to move the car. Mm-hmm. They are not traffic cops. They don't have that jurisdiction. If she was, the only way that they could, like, say, get her to get out of her car and things like that is if there was an active investigation that she was impeding. She was not impeding. There was no investigation at that time.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What was she doing? What was she doing?
She was a woman in her neighborhood who was allowing 11 cars past her, letting them go by. She had 5 minutes prior to that dropped her son off at school. She had her dog in her car.
Hold on, a couple of things. One, we're looking for opposition, guys, so if you disagree, you're a Trump supporter, Republican, etc., there's a request button at the bottom. Please hit that. Also, pay links are in the bio if you guys can show support. J-Ro, thanks for the $1 on the blue at with a V. It says, I'm sorry, when did ICE become the judge and jury and executioner? Why are you okay with them being given authority to do whatever they want without oversight? WJRO, guys, that's JRO. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Yeah, so I mean, he's saying to what we're saying as well. There's just no. I still see how you think they have authority over what they did, in terms of trying to ask her to come out of her vehicle or anything like that.
So what did Renee Good do? Did she park her vehicle perpendicular in the street to do what? What was she doing?
It's her neighborhood. She had just come from dropping her son off at school. You know what this is giving? I'll be honest with you. Yeah, maybe this is a little bit like dramatic for me to say, but it's giving like, well, what were you wearing?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, that's the feeling I get when she strikes the ICE officer and you say, why didn't he get out of the way?
What he did, though, get out of the way.
I did not say, like, he
But he did get out of the way.
But
that's a nice try.
Prove that she hit him. Prove that she hit him. Stop saying that.
The video.
Okay, cool. Show us.
It's on every video you've watched.
No. Shut up. Show us. Because I will show you everything that's coming out my fat mouth right now. I am more than happy to show you. Now I need for you to show us how he hit.
Well, that's not how it works. You can't. No.
No.
The burden of proof is on you.
Weirdo.
The burden of proof, especially in this situation, is on the one making the affirmative claim.
On video, she struck him with the vehicle.
Okay, that still doesn't justify. That doesn't justify involuntary manslaughter, though, right?
That it justified shooting her.
No,
I said in the beginning.
Right. So you're saying at worst or best, however you want to phrase it, it's involuntary manslaughter.
Involuntary, or I could go with voluntary manslaughter. But I think it's going to be there's a tough burden here to prove that he showed up there with the intent.
Nobody's saying. I don't.
No. That's.
I don't think you're.
Yeah,
you're
I agree.
You're not.
Hold on.
I don't think that he intended. Shut up, JP. Be quiet. You keep straw manning. I do not think that he got out of his car and walked back to hers. I don't think he did it intentionally to unalive her.
It's not first degree. Yeah, it is not first degree.
It's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be second-degree manslaughter with culpable negligence. Can we agree on that? Second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence.
Or second degree murder, but yeah, second or third degree, I think it would be. Hold on one second. J-Ro, thanks for the $1 on the blue out with the V. It says, you do know there are processes, right? First of all, ICE patrolling the streets is completely unwarranted. I would agree. Second, they are supposed to work with local law enforcement on traffic stops. There is that as well. Those are very good points, J-Ro. Thank you again, WJ-Ro in the comments. Remember, guys, if you want to show support, pay links are in the bio. It's Dougie9192. So, anyways, guys, we're looking for ops. So, can you at least agree that it would likely be second or third degree?
Slaughter, yes.
Well, I think Paige may have misspoke when she said it. When she said second or third degree, she meant murder. Because I don't. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there's second or third degree manslaughter.
That's Paige. Did Paige? What's her intention?
I think she may have misspoke when she said that. Is what I'm saying.
What?
You said second or third degree manslaughter. I think you meant second or third degree murder. Because I don't believe there is I don't believe there is such a thing as second or third degree manslaughter.
There is in Minnesota law. I looked at it.
Oh, really? Okay, so I could be wrong. Okay, I just thought there was voluntary and involuntary manslaughter.
So I do. I think it's second degree manslaughter with culpable negligence. I can be completely wrong. My point to this. I do not think that he went there to purposely unalive her, but I do think that he should be held accountable for unaliving her due to his gross negligence. He didn't follow protocol. You can see points like you can actually see the points where he's getting very aggravated, right? Especially with her wife. And you don't just sit there and unload 4 into the side window. What the other cop, and that's my hypothetical to Max was, why didn't the other cop, if it was such a huge threat that she was just gonna go all fucking buck wild with that car, that he didn't, because he actually did have a good vantage point to run up behind because he would be behind her. He didn't. All the other agents, did you see agents jumping out of the car and swarming her car? Like, oh my God, she's gonna go crazy with her car. No, he's the fucking bozo that overreacted. He's trigger happy. And if you guys look, he has over 30 complaints of excessive force.
Yeah, that was important to take into account. Hold on a quick second. Hey, Notes, are you opposition? I'm only looking for opposition.
I guess maybe I'm opposition to what's being said right now. I don't know if I'm necessarily opposition to you.
Okay, well, give your statement first, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think this in Minnesota, second-degree murder better fits the charge here. I think he will. I don't know how long it's going to take to build the case, especially with the FBI making it hard.
Mhm.
But I think he will be charged with second-degree murder. You never know what's going to happen at a trial. I mean, trials are unpredictable. Hopefully they don't offer him a plea, but yeah, second-degree murder fits this pretty well. And it's probably the charge he'll get. It's probably the charge those guys that murdered Alex Preddy will get too. Second degree. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now? You should be able to hear me now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what it should be, right? Whether that's going to happen or not is a different story, because I just don't trust. I don't trust this administration at all. I just not that
it's not up to the administration.
That it's up to the administration. However, though, I just it depends if the state's going to charge him or not, though, because as far as I know, they aren't even actively able to investigate, right? So if he is federally charged, then he'll just get pardons.
Well, they're running a parallel investigation. I know for sure they are with the Preddy case. I don't know as much about Renee Good, but I think they're also running a parallel investigation. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's not going to be any federal charges. I mean, the idea that the Trump administration would hold anybody in their own ranks accountable is unthinkable.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it sounds like we agree with them.
I think they will charge, though. That's my take. I think that it will probably be Hennepin County, right? Yeah, and I think that they probably feel they have no choice but to charge. I mean, especially in Preddy's case. I mean, what happened to Renee Good, it was awful, and I don't mean to downplay it at all, but I was, after I watched the video of Alex Preddy, I'm like, God, they topped it. Like, I can't believe that they did something worse, like 2 weeks, objectively worse, and more clearly murder just 2 weeks later.
That was my thought, because when I saw the one, and I think most people would agree with this, when I saw it with Renee Good, I thought, oh gosh, that's like clearly something that's horrible, and like clearly it wasn't justified, you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no way things can get worse than this. Then 2 weeks later, we see something that's even more unjustified, you know, and it was just wild to see something that topped the first one. Because I just didn't think that would even happen, you know. But
that right there, that's a solid second degree murder.
Oh, Alex, yeah.
In fact, I don't know if I mean I don't know if you can get away, because you know how you go like, and I don't know if law is in here, but
Law of the Wild.
You go like Law of the Wild. Like, you go for the high charge and then like try to whittle it down, right?
Yeah.
That right there is a solid homicide, second degree, and very intentional. When you see
for sure,
a people has been cleared and you shoot a man in the back, I mean, I'm not trying to like I'm not trying to be like sexist when I say this, but what a fucking cowardly thing for a man to shoot another man an unarmed man in the back. You are a coward. You coward, absolute coward. But yeah, those guys, I think so. I do hope that somehow, because the struggle will be like them being able to get access to all the evidence that's been collected, et cetera, I think that's the biggest hurdle. However, I don't think it'll be very difficult to find a jury to convict those two men that led them.
Not for that one. Not for that one. It won't be difficult at all. And if you want to put an even finer point on that concept of shooting somebody in the back, I was talking to my cousin about this the other day, who served multiple tours in Iraq, and he was like, if I did something like that to an armed combatant who we knew to be an armed combatant in that exact situation, in that exact way, I would get court-martialed for that. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah. And somebody in the chat makes a good point. The clapping after, like, being shot. I'm sorry to say, like, even with Renee Good, the fucking bitch, instead of being like, oh my God, or oh shit, normally.
Yeah, that would be a normal reaction.
That would be a normal reaction, like, oh shit, like, oh shit, what did I just do?
Sure.
That was aggression. That was like, fucking bitch, like, you fucking deserved it.
That is that's such a crazy initial reaction. Like,
it's so weird.
That reaction alone almost makes me wonder if you could even go for first degree, because second degree is the three prongs are intentionally caused the death, intended the killing, not merely the act, but was not premeditated. But with first degree murder, premeditation, I mean, the case law on it, I don't know exactly what it is in Minnesota, but in a lot of other states, you can form premeditation in the moment, right? Like, people generally tend to think that first degree murder, premeditated murder, is like the serial killer, or, the person who planned all day and went and bought the ropes and the duct tape at the store. But a lot of case law on first degree murder is comfortable with the idea that you can still have first degree murder based on premeditation formed in the moment. And I don't think it's a crazy argument to think that when he got in front of the car and when he saw her start lurching forward, that's when he formed the intent. Like, I don't think that's completely out of bounds. I think if you want the safer choice, the one you can nail him on, go for second degree. But yeah, I don't think that's completely out of bounds.
Guys, we are looking for opposition, by the way, so if you are a Trump supporter, Republican, conservative, etc., there is a request button at the bottom. Please do hit that if you can, that request button. And pay links are in the bio if you guys can show support. That'd be terrific. Also, gift goals there to show support. None of it's needed, but I do appreciate it. Hey, JP, do you have anything else that you wanted to contribute to the conversation?
Patiently listening. I think there's no way the ICE agent in the Renee Good situation gets convicted on any murder charge. I agree with Paige. It could be manslaughter, and I'm not trying to justify the shooting at all. That's not my intent.
Yeah, no, I don't think you are. I don't think you are.
My intent is to say that what concerns me the most is that there are a lot of people on the left that are, murder, cold-blooded murder, executed, and then when he's not convicted of that charge, or he's convicted of a lesser charge, that riots break out because we're not really following the rule of the law. The law requires intent or premeditation or a forethought for murder. And when that charge doesn't come down, there are going to be riots, and innocent people are going to be harmed. Businesses are going to be harmed because people are going to riot because they're all wound up thinking that this was cold-blooded murder.
Wait, but this is excessive force. This is brutality. This is what we have been trying to protest, especially people of color. This is what people of color have been protesting this forever, for decades.
Yeah, and the people, I mean, even in a technical legal sense, like speaking as an attorney, obviously I greatly respect the rule of law, but the people are the ultimate constitutional backstop. And when we see things like this that are so clearly something that are outside the bounds of morality and human rights and justice in our society, when our justice system can't capture that and properly punish people for it, we have to use other means and take to the streets and get justice, take justice.
You're talking in you're speaking as a lawyer. So what effect does morality have on the law?
What effect does morality have on the law?
Yes, just because you believe that a law is immoral, does that change the law?
No, of course it doesn't.
Okay, so
Well, not in the moment, but as a people, we change the laws. We change the laws in a particular way through our elected representatives, and I think that it should match our society's sense of and notions of justice and what is good and right. And when you have such a society-wide reaction and grotesqueness of God, we all know how wrong that was. If our laws can't capture that, we're going to have to find another means to get justice.
okay, so I agree with you. The shooting of Renee Good and Alex Preddy were uses of excessive force, and they should both be alive today. They should not have died on the streets of Minneapolis. I would agree 100%.
All right, W.
But what is ICE doing? Is the ICE enforcing the law, the existing law in the country, the law that our legislative branch has passed for deportation and immigration?
I want ICE gone. I'm just being transparent, JP. Is it JP? Yeah.
That's
I just want to be transparent. I want ICE gone completely. There's no reforming them. They're too far gone. But in the meantime, all that we are begging on our hands and knees is for them to at least follow the rules. Follow your own policies and procedures. Stick to the Constitution.
Yeah, and
Stop
they do
fucking with children.
They delegitimize themselves when they do that. I mean, when law enforcement doesn't follow the law, it's no longer legitimate, right? And especially when they do it in a systematic way. You know, as a society, we can accept some level of, yes, in a complex system, we're always going to have some errors of judgment, and no, this isn't always going to go perfect. But ICE is doing it in a systematic way. I personally, I don't view them as a legitimate law enforcement agency anymore. Like, there has to be some very serious changes for them to be legitimate anymore.
Well, and that's part of the problem.
It is that is a huge part of the problem.
No, you don't observe them as a legitimate law enforcement agency.
No. They did that to themselves.
Yeah, they should work to change that.
I think they're beyond reform. I say abolish it, and if you want to set something up like we had previous to ICE came. Let's be honest, how did ICE come about? 9/11. It was an anti-Muslim movement, so to speak. That's how ICE came about. We don't need that. I don't mind people who are going to do this the right way with civility and humanity. I don't mind that, so to speak, but this is bullshit.
Cassie, thank you for the 10 on the PP app, I guess I'll call it. It says, honestly, I'm just going to unalive waiting for him to complete a sentence. Cassie, thank you so much. W Cassie, that's Cassie. Remember, guys, if you want to show support, pay links are in the bio. While it's not needed, I do appreciate it. And guys, we are looking for opposition, so if you disagree, hit the request button.
So let's see if we can find some common ground, because really, that's what these debates should be about, right? This should be about trying to find some common ground. Would you agree?
What would be the common grounds?
Well, let's talk about immigration. I mean,
we can move to that topic. That's fine.
Customs and enforcement and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Trump ran on mass deportation. And of course, under the Biden administration, it seemed, I'm not going to say there were open borders, but it seemed like we were being flooded with undocumented immigrants, correct?
Well, what do you mean by seem by? Because that's something that we can measure, right?
Well, we can't really measure it because they're undocumented. We don't really know. We don't really know how many people entered the country.
You can have an estimate based on the numbers, but then how do you come to the conclusion that it seems that's been the case?
Well, the estimates were anywhere from 8 million to 20 million under the 4 years of the Biden administration.
What's that?
Is that correct?
What was that? I'm sorry.
8 million, 20 million?
It's held steady. It's held steady between 10 and 11 million.
Okay,
through multiple presidencies.
Let's agree that that's true, but we have no way to prove it because they are undocumented. We can't.
Wait. Do you think undocumented means they have no documentation, no identification, no nothing? As the daughter of immigrants, I'm asking you: do you think that immigrants are showing up with absolutely no document? Is that what you mean? Undocumented immigrant does not mean they don't have documentation or identification. Undocumented means they don't have a visa, they don't have a green card. That's all that means.
They don't have legal.
Hey, Doug, let me in, bro. I'm outside your crib. I brought the condom and lube.
Cool, dude. Are you opposition?
I'm outside, bro. Let me in.
Cool. Are you opposition? Great. Are you opposition? Great. Are you opposition? Yes or no?
Nigga, open the door, bro. I got the loot.
All right. Go ahead, JP, or whoever was going. That would have been funny if this was like 20 years ago or something, and that was like an original thing to say. But anyways,
sexual harassment is in 2026 isn't really funny anymore, though, and that's what that was. And you need to wait your turn. Some of us are already in line to have a piece of Doug. Okay.
Anyways, where are we at, guys?
Okay, so let's get back on point. So, as a conservative, my solution to the immigration policy would be to allow people who are currently in the country, who are working and providing a service to other citizens of the country, to allow them to legally exist in the country, which would mean work visas that would not be set to expire, but they would have to, continue to prove, maybe annually, biannually, this is what I'm doing. I'm working in agriculture, or I'm working in construction.
We do have that process, though. They have what's their check-in. They have like check-ins.
We slightly have that process.
No. That is the process. That's when they have court dates. You know, the phones that were given to them, that like a bunch of MAGA bitches are like, oh, and they got these free Obama phones. Those phones were one way with the court system. They couldn't text people or call people with them. Those phones were for them to be able to keep in with their check-ins, keep up with their court dates, and any kind of questions that they might have. We had that process. Exactly what you're talking about. It exists. But ask yourself this, JP. If this really was about getting, pardon me, if this really was about getting violent, undocumented immigrants out, deport those, how come they didn't start at the prisons? Because there are undocumented immigrants serving time in American prisons right now. They have yet to start at the prisons and go, okay, you guys are first.
Well,
instead they're going to sanctuary cities. Imagine that.
And so, are you making the claim that none of the people that are being arrested currently by ICE are violent criminals?
The majority aren't. In fact, I don't. What was the statistic? The ones that were sent to CCOT.
It's a smaller percent. It's a smaller percent. Yeah.
It's a very small percent. And the ones that were sent to CCOT, none of them had had been convicted of violent crimes. In fact, the majority of them hadn't even committed crimes. And some of the crimes were like shoplifting. But
right.
All it was like 200 plus people that were sent to CCOT. And by the way, you don't get out of CCOT. Once you're there, that's where you die too. You don't get out of CCOT.
For sure. Yeah, so people in the comments are giving the correct stats. Yeah, it's about 70-30. And listen, based on our current system, right, and the laws that we have, yes, if you're undocumented, obviously, there are rules and, et cetera, right? But, I think most of us would agree that we should probably specifically bias the ones that have committed violent crimes, right, rather than the ones that are here working, contributing to society, etc. I think maybe you'd agree with that too, hopefully. JP?
Yeah, I agree.
Right. And I think that's a large percent of the criticism that people have towards the Trump administration is that it doesn't seem to be targeted towards the violent ones. It seems to just be a catch-all for all of them, when that seems to not be productive at best, and very, very harmful and potentially immoral at worst.
And so the answer is somewhere in the middle, right?
I don't think the answer with every situation is always in the middle. But it depends. Well, what's the middle? What are you trying to say the middle is?
Well, the middle is what I was trying to explain, is that people that are here, they're being productive members of our society that are contributing to society, should be given the opportunity to remain here legally.
Sure,
versus
I would agree with
the
that.
Ones that should be deported.
JP, can we deport all the assholes and criminals and monsters that have been mentioned in the Epstein files? Can we agree that we can deport them? Because those are the deplorables that shouldn't be here.
You can deport them if they're U.S. citizens.
Oh, sure, why not? No, well, actually, no. Trump has accidentally, I'm using air quotes, deported American citizens.
It has happened many times, so.
I'm in Florida. They have detained American citizens. They have detained Puerto Ricans who are American citizens. American citizens have been deported accidentally. So why don't we focus on all those monsters that are in the Epstein files? Why don't we start deporting their asses? They shouldn't be here. Do you agree that P3DOs mentioned in those files that they shouldn't exist? I don't think they should be drawing a breath.
Okay.
So let's deport them. Let's agree.
Since you want to shift to the Epstein files.
Well, she wasn't shifting. Hold on, she wasn't necessarily shifting. I think she was just kind of giving an example of people that we should probably target. I mean, we could go to that. That's fine.
As the Epstein files, how long has the Department of Justice had the Epstein files?
For a while, but if you're talking about during Biden's term, he couldn't do anything about it because Ghislaine Maxwell, her Yeah, her investigation was active.
It's still active.
And so they're not allowed to do that.
But also two wrongs. But also, if what I know what you're about to say, even if that were the case,
anyone that was involved in the Epstein files. Now, if they had the evidence, absolutely, anyone. Look, you're not gonna try to pigeonhole me into saying that that's somehow okay. Anyone who violates a child or violates a woman or even violates a man,
anyone, yeah,
these people should be buried under the prison.
For sure.
And if you really want to feel, they should be hung and quartered on the town square alive and left to the insects and the rodents.
Okay, so JP, sure. I agree, and I promise to do something if you promise to do the same thing, right? I'm only guessing that you voted Republican.
Yes.
Okay, cool. You call up your representatives, your governor's office, your reps, and you say, I want an investigation opened on all these people that are mentioned, and I'm going to do the same thing. They'll listen to you because you voted for them. But I'm going to do the same with my reps. I'm going to insist that an investigation is open.
I've already done that. I haven't made the call.
No, you have to call them, and you have to keep calling them.
Well, it was through text message that I want full investigation. The Epstein
no, you can leave a voicemail.
Well, I can do that because I believe that's what needs to happen. But I will also say that if there was condemning evidence within these files, these people, they should have been prosecuted years ago. What are we waiting on?
Because JP, let me tell you why. Because, and you're going to be like maybe eye rolling, when it comes to the violence on girls, and I'm using that word in particular, and women, people generally don't give a shit. When we look at the statistics of conviction rates of women taking their male rapists to court, the conviction rate is under 5%. 95% of rapists walk. We know this to be true. It is only when we all band together and we make large noise where they finally go, oh shit, well, we better do something. So that's what's going to take. It's going to take you to make noise and me to make noise and everybody else cares about the safety of girls and women. And now we find out little boys were also involved in this.
Yeah, children. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all.
Right, but I think especially people who voted for Trump voted Republican, it would behoove them to speak up because those are the ones that would allow things to change or at least make it more likely. Because obviously Democrats, people on the left are going to speak up, no doubt, right? But it's the people that voted for the administration, I think, that would help make some sort of change, if at all. By the way, guys, real quick, if you guys are enjoying live, there's a follow button. Click it in the top left. For everybody watching on the tube, I see there's a lot of chatter going on in the comment section, so I don't know what you guys are all chatting about, but hello to the people in the tube. Make sure you sub to me over there. It's Dougielifts. Also, pay links are in the bio to show support. Gift goal is right there. Make sure you guys support and follow page as well.
I just want to give you a case in point if anybody thinks I'm exaggerating just now or just being over emotional because I'm a woman. Blazer, who looks to be a man, just assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, Balzer, says, who cares? It's old news. This man, we're talking about children being raped and tortured, and he just said, who cares? It's old news. That's my point.
And I totally disagree with that, and I don't care about political affiliation at all. Anyone in the Epstein files that is found with the evidence to be guilty of this deplorable action, yeah, they should be life in prison. And, one thing I don't understand is why the sentence for murder or voluntary manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, vehicular manslaughter, these sentences are far more intense than rape or molestation of a child. What kind of society do we live in where we think that violating a child or violating a woman or even a man, even a man can be violated too?
I think we probably agree here. I don't think there would be much of disagreement
Why
on that.
such a soft sentence for that? I've seen men get 2 years for molesting a child. What
right, but that's the point.
Brock Turner served 3 months. Brock Turner violently raped a woman outside of a club near a dumpster, and he served 3 months. Then we have this baseball player. He's not a professional baseball player. I can't remember his name. Got house arrest for violently, repetitively raping women, girls.
And that's disgusting. That is disgusting. I don't know how. I know that generally people on the left have a particular disdain for people on the right about these types of assaults, but that's not me. I have 4 granddaughters. 4. And if that happens to one of my granddaughters, there will be justice. It'll be at my hand. And I don't care. I'm 58. I've lived a life. So they'll be in the ground.
Yeah. All right. Guys, again, we're looking for opposition, all right? All right, JP, anything else that you wanted to say in general? If not, I want to see if I can maybe find a new guest.
I mean, okay. we were on the subject of Renee Good, and the only point I wanted to make was that a lot of content creators are calling it murder. It's murder. It's full-blooded murder, and I just don't want to see the majority of people to say, oh yeah, it's obviously that's what it was, and then when that conviction doesn't come down, we see riots and looting and burning and more loss of life. I just think it's a dangerous situation, and I think we should let the investigation play out. Hopefully there is an investigation.
Hoping there will be. I'm skeptical as to whether there will be an investigation. So, let alone in being convicted for any sort of murder, right? But that's a different topic for a different time. But all right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming up. It was a good conversation overall. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you down, though. Okay.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right, JP. Take care. Yeah, absolutely. Take care. All right, guys. We're looking for ops. I'm gonna give it another minute or two. If not, I'm gonna restart. Okay, because it's starting to slow down a little bit. Yeah, Peabody, I'm already way ahead of you. It was just starting to slow down a little bit. That's why I wanted to get to a new guest. But yeah, again, guys, I am streaming on the tube. Make sure you do sub to me over there. I don't know what people are commenting about in the comment section over there. I don't normally have a whole bunch of comments on the tube, so I don't know what's going on over there. But anyways. Why don't libs help the illegals by taking them since they are so harmless? User, that's such a original talking point. I've never heard anybody else say that before. You are the first person to say, if you like illegals so much, why don't you take them in? Never heard anyone say that. So original. That's such a stupid fucking thing to say. Like, those are not the same things. I wouldn't take a random U.S. citizen into my house. That doesn't mean U.S. citizens shouldn't just be hanging out in society. Like, me taking you into my house is different than somebody being allowed in a country. But they're not even remotely the same.
I lived with immigrants all my life, so I've done my job.
It doesn't. Jabba. It doesn't test logic. You think it does, but you want to let them in your country. Well, user, by that very logic, if you think somebody is not harmful, then they should live in your house, right? Like it doesn't make sense. Again, U.S. citizens are on average more likely to commit a crime per capita. Okay, so by that logic, U.S. citizens shouldn't be here. Your logic, your argument doesn't make sense, and I'm trying to invite you on up, and it's not surprising that you don't want to accept the invite. But it doesn't test logic in the least bit.
Well, so just because we are kind of touching upon it, we know, statistically, that children are more likely to be harmed by somebody in their family. So children shouldn't by that logic, children.
Yeah, they shouldn't live with their family. Yeah. Stupid as logic.
Their logic.
Right. So, but who's saying it? Is it user? Yeah. But that's begging the question. When you're saying they shouldn't be here because they are illegal, that's begging the question, right? The question is, why is it illegal, and why is it a bad thing to be quote-unquote illegal? That's what it comes down to. Don't say it's bad because it's illegal. That's an appeal to legality. Tom, you're welcome to come on up. I highly doubt you're going to accept a request. People criticizing a harmful thing is not hate. It's just criticizing something that deems criticism. No, how you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Good, man, good. How old are you? I just gotta ask your age before we move forward. It's TikTok terms of service.
40.
Right on, man. Alright, I don't know why you got invited up. You probably said something in the comments, but is there something that you disagree with?
I didn't know why I got invited up either, bub.
It was probably a comment that you said. Well, I see. You were responding to someone in the comments, but sounds like your opposition.
His opposition. Actually, I've talked to him before.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. So, is there? Yeah, we could talk about something. I assume you voted for Trump.
I didn't. I didn't. I got invited up. I don't agree. Or I don't disagree with. I don't hate science, or I'm not MAGA, so I don't know why. I don't disagree with science or the alphabet community or women, children, immigrants.
Why are you calling them the alphabet community?
Huh?
What? Why did you call them the alphabet community? Just curious.
It's easier than saying LGBTQIA+. That's much easier.
You just say LGBT+, but alright.
Well, I mean, you got it listed as LGBTQIA+. What are you talking about?
You can say LGBT+. The plus would include all the other things.
Okay. So if that's the case...
Who did you vote? I'm curious. Who did you vote for, if at all?
2024, I didn't vote.
Why is that?
I'm an anarchist. The system created me into being an anarchist.
In your words, what would be anarchism?
So I guess someone who doesn't depend on the government or society in general.
Okay.
Chooses to really interact with society, I suppose.
And so, do you think having an anarchist society would be the most beneficial?
Yeah, free market.
Are you a true anarchist, or are you a libertarian?
Yeah, it's a little different.
I would say I'm former libertarian, but yeah, I align definitely more with libertarian anarchy than anything on the Republican or Democrat platforms whatsoever. Both platforms are poopy. If you want my opinion about it.
What would be the benefit?
Who's Democrats' front runner? I understand Trump and all. The tariffs that he put in place, and I've not really followed it much along those terms. The stuff with ICE and everything, but I've been against immigration enforcement and all that for the longest time. I wish we would go back to the days of Ellis Island immigration policies and such, but you know.
What would that look like today? What would that look like today? Just any like, what would that process look like?
If we could eliminate a lot of the social and corporate welfare, then there'd really be no issue whatsoever with immigration. I mean, there's the scare tactics of gangs and rapists and all that coming across the borders and this, that, and the other, but I think that's ignorant because I don't know. But see, I'm part of that 666 community, I guess, where I'm not really scared of boogeymen that people make up to tell me about and all that. So
I would agree there. I would agree that immigrants are made out to be a boogeyman.
Well, I would definitely say that immigrants built this country for sure. Absolutely.
Oh, sure.
Wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just the country of today rather than the physical land country. I mean, of course, it's been here forever, and people inhabited it for years and years, different times, different types of people, and all that. So, over the course of history, human civilization and all that. So, yeah.
We
probably would.
It sounds like we agree a little bit on that. If you could vote for somebody, who would it be?
The last person I voted for was Joe Jorgensen. That was 2020.
What were you hoping to get out of voting for her?
So, what Obama promised, an actual change, not the status quo.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, yeah, I guess I'm looking for more so debate, so I can bring you back to the comments. All right, but thanks for coming on up, right? Bring you back then. I don't know. It just wasn't really deemed worthy of a conversation, guys. I think I'm probably going to restart. Okay, I think this is probably restart time over here. However, though, if you've enjoyed the live, click the follow button in the top left. Do you guys want me to restart doing this, or do you want me to do a different topic, or what? I'm fine doing whatever. Let me know, guys. You're good now, effing buddy.
What do you want, chat?
Yeah, guys, let me know. We can do body count again, like we did yesterday. I think it was yesterday, or the day before. I don't know. Whenever the hell it was. LGBT plus. I know you guys don't like my seed oil one, so I won't do that. Although I enjoy doing that.
I know one thing's for sure. If you do body count, the last guest will definitely come up because he has lots of thoughts on that.
Oh, the one that just came up?
Yeah, that's the kind of like.
Oh, he's the one that's gotcha. Okay. Here, no names or no memes. Do you want to come on up? I could do LGBT plus. That's cool, guys. Let me see if this person wants to go. Yeah, let me restart, guys. All right, people in the tube or on the tube, whatever. I'm gonna restart over there as well. But again, guys, make sure you sub to me over there. I would appreciate that. If you have a second device, watch me over there once I restart. But I'll see everybody in a couple minutes. Okay. We will do LGBT plus. All right. Goodbye.